TrendSynth, where AI meets insight.
Have you ever tried a new diet that everyone was raving about, only for it to completely, well, fail you? That frustration is pretty much universal. We're always being told to eat certain things, but it feels like our bodies all have their own opinions, right? But what if we could finally move beyond all that one-size-fits-all advice and create a diet that's perfectly tailored to you? That's the huge promise of a new field called personalized nutrition. And today, we're going to break down how it works and if it's really the future of food. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. This is the core promise of personalized nutrition. The whole idea is to use data about your unique body, your genetics, your metabolism, your lifestyle, to create dietary recommendations that are just for you. It's a massive shift from, the generic food pyramid we all grew up with. And this isn't just some niche, futuristic concept we're talking about. The personalized nutrition market is projected to hit nearly $18 billion by 2025. That is a massive industry built on brand new technology and a huge demand from people for customized health solutions. So, what's the engine driving this whole revolution? How does it actually work? Well, the engine behind all of this is artificial intelligence. I know, it might sound a little like science fiction, but AI systems are literally being designed to act as your own personal dietitian. So, how on earth can an algorithm understand something as complex and unique as your body? Let's take a look under the hood. Okay, so it all starts with a specific type of AI model called a variational autoencoder, or a VAE for short. The best way to think of it is like a super advanced data processor. You feed it all your personal data, your weight, age, height, your medical history, and it crunches all of that information to create what's basically a digital fingerprint of your unique health profile. So how does that digital fingerprint actually turn into a meal plan? It's a pretty cool four-step process. First, the AI takes in your user profile. Then, that VA we just talked about creates your unique health fingerprint. From there, another part of the AI generates a sequence of meals it thinks are suitable. And then finally, an optimizer fine-tunes all the portions to match your exact daily energy needs. It's a complete journey, all the way from your data to your dinner plate. And here's what that looks like in the real world. This is a sample daily meal plan from a recent study. Just look at how specific it is. It's not just eat more vegetables, right? It gives you concrete meals for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even snacks. It's an incredibly detailed, actionable plan, all generated by an algorithm. But, impressive technology is one thing. And proof is another thing entirely. We've seen the incredible promise of the AI nutritionist, this thing capable of crafting hyper-personalized meal plans. So now we have to ask the most important question of all. Is there any solid scientific proof that this whole approach is any better than the standard dietary advice we've been hearing for years? Let's just cut to the chase. We have a multi-billion-dollar industry and some seriously impressive tech. But does any of it actually make you healthier? And this is where the hype kind of collides with reality. On one side, you've got this amazing promise of AI-optimized health. But when scientists actually did a major review of all the research, what they found was that the benefits were often inconsistent and in a lot of cases, no better than the standard advice we've been given all along. And the industry faces some pretty significant hurdles. For one, these services can be extremely expensive, which puts them out of reach for a lot of people. Then there are the really serious data privacy concerns about sharing your most sensitive health information. And crucially, there's just a lack of long-term studies to prove this stuff is effective over time. So, if the current high-tech approach has its limits, where do we go from here? Well, what if the future of personalized nutrition isn't just about looking forward at new technology, but maybe also looking back at our collective past? This raises a really fascinating question. What if a truly personal diet needs to take into account our shared genetic history and the food cultures that shaped our ancestors over thousands and thousands of years? This brings us to a really interesting case study from Mexico. It's called the Genomics diet. It's built on what's called a biocultural model, which just means it considers both biology and culture. The goal is to align the population's ancestral genes with modern food choices, mainly by reintroducing traditional Mesoamerican foods like maize, beans, squash, and chili. And the results? They're pretty powerful. A study group that followed this diet for just 3 months saw a 50% reduction in their HOMA-IR value. Now, that's a key marker scientists use to measure insulin resistance, which is a major factor in metabolic diseases. This really suggests that a diet that's aligned with our genetic heritage can have some profound health benefits. So why does an approach like this work so well? Well, the key concept here is something called evolutionary mismatch. The idea is that a gene variant, so a tiny difference in our DNA, that was actually beneficial for our ancestors can become a risk factor when we start eating a modern processed diet. For example, a gene that helped your ancestors process nutrients in leafy greens might now really struggle with processed foods, putting you at risk. It's like our genes and our diet are just completely out of sync. So, what this really tells us is that true personalization might go a lot deeper than just our individual DNA. It's about understanding the history and the food culture that shaped our genes over generations. The context, it turns out, could be everything. And this leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As we build the future of nutrition, maybe the most personal diet isn't one designed by some universal AI, but one that reconnects us with our own unique, deeply rooted genetic and cultural heritage. So what does a truly personalized diet look like for you?